Brought to you by Baby Lock, for the love of sewing. Sulky Threads. Express yourself with Sulky and create with confidence.
Welcome to Quiltmaker's Block Network. I'm Eileen Fowler from Quiltmaker magazine, and today I'm going to show you Pennants, block number 323, designed by Kaffe Fassett and Liza Lucy for Quiltmaker's 100 Blocks Volume 4. For this 12-inch foundation piece block, you're going to need an assortment of fabrics from light to medium and dark. The fabric requirements you'll need and the dimensions are on your screen. Before we get started on the foundation piecing, let's talk a little about value and scale. I made a copy of some fat quarters from this bundle of fat quarters that belonged to, or that were designed by Kaffe Fassett. I tried to arrange them from the lightest fabric all the way to the darkest fabric, but I wasn't really sure that I'd done an adequate job. So I took another picture of it on the copy machine in black and white. And this is what I got. This fabric here, I thought was light because it had a lot of white in it, but it is appearing to be a little darker than I thought. So I moved it in the bundle to this spot here, took another black and white copy, and I think it's a little better at this place than it was over here. But it still may need to move further down here. That's just one way to look at color and value. Another way to look at color and the value is to use this value finder tool. You'll see that it takes out the colors and you'll see more of the value, the light or darkness of the fabric. Another tool is this little peephole, like you see in the door. I have it in the right way, and you can see it'll shrink down the size of the print so you can see more of the actual color and the values. For this foundation piece block, we're going to sew the foundations onto strips of fabric and chain piece them. We'll start with a light and a medium to dark strip. Place them right sides together. With the two strips, right sides together and the light piece on top, we're going to pin our patch 1 to the strip, and you want to leave about a quarter inch, at least a quarter inch beyond that seam line. Just pin those in place and pin as many foundation sections as will fit onto the strip. I've taken my sections and my strips to the sewing machine, and I've started sewing a little bit beyond the first line between patch number 1 and patch number 2. And I start sewing down that drawn line. When I get to the end, I just keep going, start sewing along this line until I get to the very end of the strip. And I take the whole unit, flip it upside down at the ironing board, turn this dark strip over, iron it in place. I'm going to slip my little mat under here, and I'm going to cut the two patches apart. Now I'm going to go to my cutting mat. I'm going to want to fold back on that line. And I'm going to use my add a quarter to butt up against the folded edge, and I'm just going to trim off that excess. Then I take my sections and I line them up one more time, this time using a light strip. And in the same way, I'm going to line up the drawn line about a quarter inch away from the edge of the strip and pin them in place. Then I'm going to the sewing machine. I'm going to start sewing here. Sew all the way down this line. Continue sewing until I get to the next section. Keep sewing through this till I get to the end of the strip. Flip these 2 patches upside down, take it to my iron, press that light patch open. I will cut them apart again. And then I will trim off the excess, like we did before, by folding back, buttoning up the add a quarter, and trimming off that excess. And you keep doing that, alternating the light and dark patches. When you're finished sewing all the strips onto the foundation, you'll have something that looks like this. We've alternated light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. The final step would be to trim off all the extra paper, foundations, and fabric along this line. And your final section of your block will look like this. Then you just need to sew 4 of the sections together to make the block. You'll notice that the block in this upper left-hand corner and the lower right-hand corner are all oriented the same direction with points facing up and down. And the block sections in the right, upper right and the lower left are showing the points horizontal. If we took the block in a 3x3 layout, we would have a quilt that looked a little like this. I've highlighted every other section of this block. If we rotate those, we might get a quilt that looks like this. We take it a little further, I've highlighted these sections, and I've rotated those rows of blocks. We'll get something that looks like this. And you can see that the endless variations of how you rotate the sections, you might even get a fun little zigzag block like that. Pennants and 99 other fun blocks can be found in Quiltmaker's 100 Blocks Volume 4. Thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again soon on Quiltmaker's Block Network. I like the fact that I work with so many creative people between our designers and staff. It's just so much fun to go to work doing something that you have a passion about in everyday life.